can this get worse than Season 9? Season 9 was bad enough on how boring it was, but I'd argue Season 10 was worse because the writing was worse. You people are probably aware of the 3 strikes and you're out formula by now. They used it a couple of times in Season 8, then much more times in Season 9, but I think Season 10 was when this formula became the norm. It's when the writers are so lazy or really can't think of any stories spanning the entire 7 minutes they've got that they keep repeating huge chunks of the script many times so that it does reach 7 minutes. The biggest example of this formula, in terms of Season 10, is Thomas's Frosty friend. Or, as the title says, Thomas's Frosty friend.
Because poor literacy is completely expected in this.
So, the wind blows a snowman balloon out of the ground and its rear chains get wrapped around Thomas's rear buffers. After Thomas sees the balloon hover in front of him the first time, he should have just asked someone to sort it out. But no, he doesn't do anything. He just obliviously keeps the balloon to his buffers until the Fat Controller tells him it's a balloon. After 5 repeated scenes of the exact same chunk of the story. They even copied and pasted the dialogue in those scenes. You don't believe me on that front? Well, watch the scenes for yourself.
Thomas, what are you doing with that snowman? He snorted. Mr. Snowman, I told you to go back to the children. Why are you still following me? Thomas, called James, why do you have a giant balloon tied to your buffers? Thomas, he exclaimed, what are you doing with that snowman? Mr. Snowman, I told you to go back to the children. Why are you still following me? Thomas, called Farmer McColl, why do you have a giant balloon tied to your buffers? Thomas, laughed Emily, what are you doing with that snowman? Mr. Snowman, I told you to go back to the children, cried Thomas. Why are you still following me? Thomas, whistled Emily, why do you have a giant balloon tied to your buffers?
Well, that's just lazy writing.
And like 70% of the episodes this season follow this same tiring, repetitive, boring, dragging 3 strikes formula. Follow that flower. 1, 2, 3. You're out. A smooth ride. 1, 2, 3. You're out. Percy at the fun fair. 1, 2, 3. You're out. The green controller. 1, 2, 3. You're out. Duncan drops a clanger. 1, 2, 3. You're out. Toby's afternoon off. 1, 2, 3. You're out. Seeing the sights. 1, 2, 3. You're out. Topped off Thomas. 1, 2, 3. You're out. Which way now? 1, 2, 3. You're out. Thomas and the shooting star. 1, 2, 3. You're out. Sticky Toffee Thomas. 1, 2, 3. You're out. Wolf and Peace. 1, 2, 3. You're out. Thomas and the colors. 1, 2, 3. You're out. Duncan's bluff. 1, 2, 3. You're out. James the second best. 1, 2, 3. You're out. Thomas and Scarloey's big day out. 1, 2, 3. You're out! Do you see why so many people hate these seasons? This is the reason why. Well, one of the reasons why. The other reason is that the characters are atrociously written. Thomas is usually an incompetent, time-wasting moron who usually thinks about what he wants instead of doing his 2-second jobs. Though that is to be expected by this point in the show. It doesn't surprise anyone. But Scarloey wouldn't have been so timid and shy when he's at the wharf and had self-confidence issues. I don't think Toby would have allowed the holes in his shed roof. I think he would have approved Thomas trying to fix it for him, doing such a nice favour. And then there's the ever so infamous Edward strikes out. What in the mother of God did they do to Edward? He never would have agreed with Gordon's pompous criticisms. He never would have thought Rocky was newfangled nonsense. He would have been glad that a new strong breakdown crane had arrived. He would have went to fetch Rocky straight away after the pipe spilled out, and he would have felt sorry for Harvey if he thought he was inferior compared to Rocky. Well, that hadn't been stated in the episode, but that was what it was implying. In fact, is this engine even Edward? I don't think it is. I think this is just James wearing Edward's coat of paint and stealing his face masks. They did it before, why not do it now? I guess the only good episodes this season are Fearless Freddie, Thomas and the Jet Plane, Thomas and the Birthday Mail, and It's Good to Be Gordon. Everyone says that if you watch the latter episode with the mindset that it takes place during season 1, when Henry actually needed special coal, then it's a pretty good episode. The new characters are okay, and their introductory episodes are the best episodes of the season too. Well, except for Edward Strikes Out. That one killed Edward. Jeremy is probably my least favourite newbie here. Not only is there not much to his personality, but his design is confusing. Why is his model smaller than it should be? Why are his eyes his front windows? Can his pilots see anything? Does Jeremy even have pilots? Did the crew just want to make their own version of JJ the Jet Plane? Rocky was okay, but unlike other characters in this era, he does appear regularly, even outside of this era. So that's a plus. Fearless Freddie is a good character, an old wise engine who isn't afraid to have a bit of fun. But his backstory kind of confuses me. This is what Angelus says at the very start.
An old friend was coming back to the narrow gauge railway. Everyone had heard tales of Freddie.
I think this fits in better if Duke was in Freddie's place. I mean, maybe after season 4, he was sent away to get a complete overhaul and be as fit as he was years ago. But considering Sir Handel and Freddie know each other very well, Wait, Sir Handel? Well, why wasn't he in the last season? I think the last time we saw him was Season 4? What? They seriously didn't use Sir Handel's model in seasons 5, 6, or 7? How come I never noticed this for like 20 years? Like, what? Anyway, considering Sir Handel and Freddie know each other very well, but yet Freddie doesn't know who Skarloey and Rheneas are, it's possible that he was originally a mid-Sodor engine who used to work alongside Duke, Sir Handel, and Peter Sam. Or, Falcon and Stewart. And I have heard people say that Freddie was inspired by Ivo Hugh. They both have similar designs, and while Freddie is number 7 in the TV series, Ivo Hugh was number 7 in the Railway series. Although, I think it's highly unlikely that the production crew actually read the Railway series for inspiration. If most of the episodes they had written are anything to come by, they probably just saw an image of Ivo Hugh online and thought, sure, why not, let's base Freddie off him. Even though Freddie is a pretty good character, I think my favourite this season is a tie between him and Rosie. How can she not be my favourite? I haven't heard a single person in this fandom say that they don't like Rosie. Not because of the episode she appears in. I mean, she hardly had any. But because of her character. She's chipper, she's bubbly, she's kind, she's helpful, she has cute little freckles, and she wants to be useful, but she doesn't think she can do so by herself, so she looks up to Thomas, an engine who has done a lot of great things, and she tries to be like him. This sort of thing is natural for someone as young as Rosie. It's cute. She's a cute character. It's no surprise that there's a popular member in this fanbase who...
As you can see, I'm a major hardcore Rosie fan and collector, as you can see.
Deeply adores her. It's pretty sad that Rosie and her debut episode, which could have been written better anyway, is the only thing people remember about this season. No one remembers Follow That Flower. No one remembers A Smooth Ride. or James the Second Best, or Toby's Afternoon Off, or anything. Well, they do remember Thomas's Frosty Friend and Edward Strikes Out, but that's only because they are some of the worst written episodes in the whole show. And guess who wrote them? Sharon Miller. As I had hinted at the end of the Season 8 video, this was when Sharon started her ever so infamous career as a writer on the show. She started in Season 9, where I thought half of her episodes were decent at best, but now look at her list for Season 10. And it gets just as bad from here. And the songs? What songs? I can't remember any of them. They are still all the same. The same instruments, the same beat, the same type of music, the same child singers. Everything. They have put in more effort into the music video footage than making the songs memorable or different from one another. What the fuck else can I say? Season 10 is just awful. Awful writing, awful depictions of the characters, 2 average newbies, a good one and a great one, forgettable music, boring narration, and more bland sets. The only set I like from this season is the wharf, although it was never used in any great manner, while the rest of them is just as bland as ever. I mean, High Farm just looks like a pile of dirt that they just put some bushes and railway lines on it. I really don't know if I can keep going, but I have to. See you tomorrow for Season 11, I guess.